Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a good Saturday. Just got two quick important articles here to share with you. One on Russia, one on China. Start out with this one. Russia develops hypersonic 4,600 mile per hour Zircon missile. The race to develop an unstoppable and unbeatable weapon capable of defeating all the military defense systems in the world is getting much too close for comfort. According to multiple reports, Russia is expected to begin production soon of its 3M-22 Zircon, a hypersonic missile that will travel 4,600 miles per hour, 5 times the speed of sound, and will have a range of 250 miles. That's just 3 minutes and 15 seconds from launch to impact. Guided hypersonic missiles will be more accurate than traditional ballistic missiles and could conceivably be armed with nuclear warheads, according to the geopolitical analysis firm Stratfor. And they're coming, whether we like it or not, and they'll be on our doorstep sooner, not later. State tests of Zircon are scheduled for completion in 2017, and the missile's serial production is planned to be launched next year, the Russian news agency TASS reported last year, quoting sources. And last month, Russia's Interfax agency cited a source familiar with the Zircon project, who said the 5-ton missile is likely to be tested for the first time this spring, earlier than the projected date of 2018, from a sea-based platform. The International Business Times reported that the U.S. Navy is concerned the missile could be fitted to a Russian warship. Hypersonic speed is the stuff of science fiction, as explained in IBT. The missile employs revolutionary scramjet technology to reach its hypersonic speeds, whereby propulsion is created by forcing air from the atmosphere into its combustor, where it mixes with onboard fuel rather than carry both fuel and oxidizer like traditional rockets. This makes it lighter and therefore much faster. It uses no fans, rotating turbines, or moving parts, just an inlet where the air is compressed and a combustor where the air is mixed with fuel. Fewer moving parts also means less chance of mechanical failure. The Zircon would be capable of destroying the world's most advanced warships and aircraft carriers in one strike and can be put into action by 2020. The Zircon will have a radar target seeker and optical electronic complex that can trace and detect targets. Also at hypersonic speeds, according to the Strategic Culture Foundation, it will greatly reduce the reaction time that Western military units have to deploy their own defenses and countermeasures. Tim Ripley, who covers defense issues for Jane's Defense Weekly, told the German international broadcaster Deutsche Welle. He said the Zircon could render Western anti-aircraft defenses obsolete, and he warned that Russia appears far ahead of the U.S. in development. In the public domain, the West seems to be quite a long way behind, Ripley said, but that doesn't mean there isn't some black super-secret project run by the U.S. Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA. In fact, the U.S. may not be behind at all, according to Stratfor. U.S. Major General Thomas Masiello announced in late February that the Air Force plans to have operational prototypes of its own hypersonic missiles ready for testing by 2020. Stratfor forecasts that the U.S. and China will likely have the first operational long-range hypersonic missiles in their arsenals by 2025, years ahead of Russia. India is also working to develop a hypersonic missile, according to India Today. India is developing the BrahMos-2 missile in collaboration with Russia, and it will use the same scramjet technology as Zircon. And I'll read this other one. This is about China upgrading their Navy. China is building the Navy's biggest amphibious assault vessels, sources say. Ships will strengthen the Navy as Beijing makes more assertive claims to disputed waters in the South China Sea and increases sea patrols amid strained ties with Taiwan. And this comes from the daily edition of the South China Morning Post. China started building a new generation of large amphibious assault vessels that will strengthen the Navy as it plays a more dominant role in projecting the nation's power overseas, military sources said. The 075 landing helicopter dock is now under construction by Shanghai-based shipbuilding company, the sources said. The amphibious assault vessel is far larger than similar ships previously constructed for the PLA Navy. The 075 can serve as a form of aircraft carrier. Military experts said it could give China's Navy the ability to launch various types of helicopters to attack naval vessels, enemy ground forces, or submarines in the East or South China Sea. China's first helicopter ship carries at least 30 armed helicopters, 4 helicopter elevators on deck. Okay, that's it. The introduction of the vessel comes as China is placing increasing importance on its Navy as it makes more assertive claims to much of the South China Sea. The PLA has also increased the number of naval patrols near Taiwan amid strained ties with the independence-leaning government of the island, which Beijing considers a breakaway province that is split from the rest of the nation. China's Navy commander, Vice Admiral Shen Jinlong, visited the shipbuilding company on Sunday, which specializes in building landing helicopter docks, the company said on its website. One source close to the Navy said Shen's inspection trip confirmed construction work was underway on a new class of vessel. Construction of the Type 075 ships will take 2 more years, his source said. The first vessel may be launched as early as 2019 and put into full service by 2020. Beijing is also due to launch its first home-built aircraft carrier on April 23rd, according to Chinese media reports and military sources, as part of its strengthened naval forces. April 23rd marks the 68th anniversary of the founding of the People's Liberation Army Navy, and President Xi Jinping may attend the launch ceremony, one of the sources added. Beijing-based naval experts said this year is a big year for the Navy as the Supreme Central Military Commission has announced it's going to expand. That's why the launch time was set for the Navy's birthday. South China Morning Post reported earlier this month, citing military sources, that the Navy planned to increase the size of its Marine Corps fivefold, from 20 to 100,000 personnel, to help protect its increasing interests overseas. The launch of the carrier and the construction of the amphibious assault vessel provide further evidence that Marine Corps troops and the Navy will play an increasingly important part in PLA operations. The Macau-based military observer said building the bigger type vessels, which are in similar size to the largest American Wasp-class amphibious ships, would help the Navy match the U.S. in the use of helicopters in its fleet. China has so many giant warships, including 4 amphibious vessels and 2 aircraft carriers, but its vertical landing capability is still limited due to a lack of the largest helicopter dock vessels, he said. The launch will let the Navy become the world's number 2 powerful Navy after the U.S. The Type 075 is able to deploy and house up to 30 armed helicopters. 6 helicopters will be able to take off from the flight deck at the same time. The vessels will also be able to deploy landing craft and troops, plus house and command control operations. Its developer is a subsidiary of the South China State Shipbuilding Corporation, which has produced at least 4 smaller 20,000-ton amphibious transport docks. The PLA Navy dispatched one of the smaller amphibious ships to Fiery Cross Reef and other man-made islands in disputed areas of the South China Sea for the first time last year. The construction of the new vessel is likely to put more military pressure on Taiwan. Its government says Beijing has increased the military intimidation of the island since President of the independence-leaning Democratic Progressive Party won elections in 2016. The U.S. Department of Defense said in a report to Congress last year that the PLA was building a strong amphibious assault force and that this posed a threat to Taiwan. These included amphibious landing ships, armored brigades, and Marine Corps, the report said. Another source said that after his visit to see the type under construction, Vice Admiral Shen also inspected progress on the new aircraft carrier. The Type 002 will be China's 3rd carrier, which has been under construction in Shanghai since March 2015. It is expected to be launched in about 2021. So there we got wars and rumors of wars going full speed ahead. New high-tech advanced weapons. Every day I can report on something. Just thought I'd keep you guys up to date with that. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. God bless. Have a great weekend. Bye.